Hey guys, this is Tommy from Tommy Nation Politics. Honor, how's everyone doing today?
Glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation.
Hello everyone, Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Good? Good. So right now we are in the midst of a turmoil situation with the Minnesota Police Department under fire. George Floyd, it was very inconvenient for him to be doing his job, so apparently he had to resort to, I don't know, what's the word, putting your foot on someone's neck until they're dead. I don't know what that is. But check that out. Check out the video. No, I won't check out the video because I'm tired of watching those videos, guys. I'm just tired of watching those videos. So I have a lot of different views about what's going on in the community at large and politics as a whole, our Congress, our Senate, and our House of Representatives, and also the president. The president has just been not on the ball with this. Honestly, I just feel like he's just not on the ball, period. But, I mean, that in itself, willing to forget about, by only the fact that Joe Biden is a racist piece of shit. That's pretty much the bottom line there. First of all, getting on the FBI about investigating this. He's already said stuff about this. They've already started investigating. You know what? There's a man in power doing something. That's what I've said. I like to see men in power doing things for the American people. Down the line, because I'm not a partisan. So down the line, men doing things, let's rock today. Let's rock today. You know what I'm saying? You get me? Know what I'm stepping in? Yeah? All right, cool. Because I'm not a partisan, so I don't care if Republicans are doing it. I don't care if Democrats are doing it. I don't care if Libertarians are doing it. I don't care if grandma's out there watering the lawn doing it. Do it, boo. You do you. That's what we're here to do on Tommy Nation Politics. Now, some little aftermath of this wonderful little causation stuff. Sorry, I gotta pop in real quick. Okay, so, did I not tell you this, guys? Did I not tell you? Oh, I think I did. I think I told you. Ben Kesselin, NBC. This comes from NBC. Sorry about that. So, curfews go into effect in cities around the country as George Floyd protests continue. Curfews will be in effect Saturday evening in Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, Denver, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. May 30th, 2020. Updated. Curfews have been instituted around the country on Saturday as mass demonstrators broke out nationwide, braced for another night of protests. Wow, that's some turmoil right there. So, by the way, when the mandates were going on, the unconstitutional government overreach mandate told everyone to wear masks. I know everybody was talking about, it's for my kids, I got my family, the ones I love. You were afraid, right? You gave unnecessary power to the government. Now look what happens. On black people. Duh. Because that's what always happens. You give the government unnecessary government overreach powers, and guess what happens? The black people suffer for it. The black people do. Okay? So stop doing that stuff. Stop it. Continuing, Minneapolis. A curfew will go in effect in Minneapolis on Saturday at 8 p.m. after the city braces for another night of unrest. Woo. By being out tonight and breaking the 8 p.m. curfew, you are helping the people using crowds as covers to prey on Minneapolis and destroy communities. Do you guys hear this? Do you guys hear like the, you're hurting my kids. This is my family. This is to protect my family. Listen to these guys. By being out tonight and breaking the 8 p.m. curfew, you are helping the people using crowds as cover to prey on Minneapolis and destroy communities. Mayor Jacob Frey wrote on Twitter. Twitter. Breaking Friday night on Twitter. God damn. Wow. So now You know how you were endangering my family not wearing a mask? Guess what else? You're endangering my family not being at home at 8 p.m. sharp. Bitches. Oh, Frey said the governor has fully mobilized the Minnesota National Guard to respond to demonstrations on Saturday. Violating curfew is punishable by, oh my God, here is a punishment now. Check this out. In Minneapolis. Okay. Violating curfew is punishable by up to $1,000 fine and 90 days in jail in the mayor's emergency regulation set. So what's going on with all these poor people with no homes? They're going to pay $1,000 because they don't have homes. How are you going to get them in their fucking homes at 8 p.m. if you don't have a fucking homes? Government, answer this question, please. Answer this question. How are you going to get the poor people and the homeless people in the homes at 8 p.m.? Help me figure this out. I have to figure this out, guys. By the way, guys, I don't know if you know, I have to shout out this band name, Nirvana. It's kind of like appropriate because when the lights out, it's not going to get less dangerous. When the lights out, it does not get less dangerous here in 2020.
They had that Dark Side of the Moon song, right?
Shut the fuck up. How dare you?
Yo, I like all your literature back there. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. It's actually my dad's library. He reads a lot of books, or at least he pretends to. No, he does. He's read all these. And so have we, because we were homeschooled. So we read a lot of books, especially, about our country. And then, of course, you have the good old-fashioned what is this?
I can't. Okay.
Actually,
Hey, are you recording
Chris
yet?
Caspi. I mean, the thing records already.
Okay.
We do this thing. We're talking about, the riots and stuff like that. The curfew is going into effect because the curfews are going into effect in Georgia. And I had to read about this, You want me to read a little bit to you?
Yeah, I'd like to hear it. I've been at work all day, so
Okay, cool.
Give me the rundown.
So this is from NBC, guys. So it is the mainstream media, okay? So everybody, this is the conventional wisdom and the social norms, okay? So it says curfews go into effect in cities around the country as George Floyd protests continue. Okay, so back when we were talking about masks, do you remember y'all see my video about the government mandates? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I watched it right before this.
Okay. I just want to say, I do care. I care about your families. I care about you. I love you guys. But I just know this government, and I know this government does whatever it wants with a crisis, okay? And now they have power and permission. They have manufacturing consent. That's what it's called, manufacturing consent. They have manufactured consent to mandate.
Is that like Case Holder's book or something?
That's Noam Chomsky.
Oh, okay.
They manufactured consent to pretty much just mandate whatever the fuck they want now. And so why do you think it always goes to when they're doing stuff like this, when you give the government more power when you're scared? To black and brown people. That's where it goes. So now, I'm just saying, that's what always happens. With the Patriot Act, brown people in Guantanamo immediately.
So
yes.
So in my opinion, though, this government's been very lackluster in its expansions, though, at least overtly. Like when you say this government, what are you referring to? You're referring to Donald Trump? Are you referring to Congress? You're referring to the people who effectuated the curfew?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me tell you, the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency, all of them in power. Every last one of them, except for Tulsi Gabbard, Rand Paul, and Bernie Sanders. Every single one of these guys wants power and wants to keep power, and the people not in power just want power. Okay, They don't give a shit about any of this except for that. Okay. So that's just my thing. I mean, we're all normal human beings, and we can have conversations and stuff. They use the conversations to do stuff. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. So, I mean, if people want me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. Okay, that's cool, because I'll be a nice person. But, mandates, that's the thing I'm talking about, okay? So now they've mandated some curfews, okay? So a curfew will go in effect in Minneapolis on Saturday at 8 p.m., after the city braces for another night of unrest. By being out tonight, breaking the 8 p.m. curfew, you are helping the people using crowds to cover as prey on the Minneapolis community.
This isn't new.
Yeah.
This always happens. When these big riot type events, they always do a curfew. This isn't some special thing that happened because of the pandemic. That's a thing that happens.
Okay.
I have my opinion's a little different because it's very personal for me.
Please.
My niece was just in the hospital. We don't know if she has it yet or not. We're kind of waiting on results for that. We know that she's got what did they call it? Skeletal inflammation, which means there was so much swelling it's affecting her rib cage. I know my partner, he responds poorly to breathing treatments and has lung issues. So if he were to get it, he would probably just die because he couldn't get any of the treatments that would make it better. So to me, through a lot of this, I'm just like, why? I know staying home sucks, but like, stay the fuck home. I haven't done anything other than go to work and go to the grocery store since all of this started. He's been home 24/7. He's gone with me to the store like 3 times. So I don't know. That one's very personal. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about how the masks aren't effective, but I feel like those are people that don't understand the purpose of the mask. The mask isn't so that you have this like super protection and you can't get it. It's so that you're less likely to expose other people to it. So, you know,
Everyone's wearing glasses but me, so I had to.
So I don't know. I feel like we've got a bunch of Karens that are really upset that their lives are slightly more inconvenient.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to breathe, and yeah, true, you're right.
I have to wear a mask for 7 hours straight at work, and it's annoying. And it's 100 degrees because I'm working on the line in a kitchen. So I get it.
Do you think that because obviously, like, we flattened the curve for a while, so like, people like your partner, if God forbid anything did happen to them, they might be able to have medical access to places right now. But that was in the last news cycle. Do you think that the riots or anything right now, or the protests rather,
they use it as crowd control?
Well, what about those poor people like that don't have homes? What about the homeless? What are they gonna do at 8 p.m.?
I totally think that it's fucked up.
There's already like vagrancy laws that they can like actually. Well, first of all, they can just like make up any rule they want to, with homeless people. They can just say they're speaking to them for a police investigation. Then when they don't know anything, they can be like, "Oh, he was impeding my investigation," and just take them to jail. So like, the curfew might not be a big deal for them because they haven't actually needed a scapegoat to fuck around homeless people. I feel like I interrupted you though, Luke. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally good. I just mean this isn't something that they used the pandemic to be allowed to do this. They would have done this even if the pandemic had never happened. They would have come up with a curfew.
I think that there's nothing to be alarmed about, and we should just stay.
Oh, no.
Okay,
that is not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it has nothing to do with pandemic. They would have done this anyway.
Okay, they would have done this anyway?
Yeah.
Well, that's less alarming then, because I feel like they were like just stepping on this, like, The Handmaid's Tale. And I do not want to be on the wall. So
totally.
It gets to that point, I want to go to Canada. So that's my thing. Do you think these are good? This is good? Is it bad, the curfews?
Oh, it's horrible. I don't think they should do it for sure, but they were going to do it either way.
How do we think the nation is handling this whole George Floyd thing anyway?
Dude, I've been watching so much tape of this stuff, and honestly, those police are showing like a lot of capitulation in the streets right now. I watch things of Austin, just like, I don't know if you're in Texas, but just like a little bit.
We're all in Texas. The greatest state. The greatest state.
But yeah, like in Austin, they literally had the cops like on the run. I was watching the live stream, like in between stuff at work. Same thing in Minneapolis, the police got told to, treat it with, complete de-escalation, the legitimate form of de-escalation, because police have been talking de-escalation since, like they were formed. But
I don't think they know what de-escalation is ever.
Right.
I've never de-escalated anything ever.
What's happening right now? Cops are in complete retreat and complete passivity with what's happening right now.
They should, because even the president tweeted about this, dude, and he did not like what was going on. Yeah, but of course, the thing I like about Trump, and I'm sorry, I like some things about him, is the fact that he hates the FBI so much, just like me.
Yeah, dude, that's one thing that's good about him. He goes against the CIA just as much as like any far left, like, proactive Bernie bro is going to do,
Yeah. Rather than go into the belly of the beast, which was the Democratic establishment, he decided that he was going to become a Republican because Republicans are dumb. And all you got to do is say a lot of things a lot of times, and then they'll just fucking say it themselves. So it's easier that way than just go against Mike Bloomberg and then stop and frisk and all the bullshit monsters of the Democratic establishment and Joe Biden.
He's an actual goblin man, dude. How is like when I saw what he actually, because like I've always heard about him, I've never actually seen him. Like it's all these New York dudes. I think that they like turn into goblins somehow. So you think about the way like Trump, Giuliani,
like Gringotts.
Bloomberg, they literally, I don't know if y'all play World of Warcraft ever, but they look like the goblins in that, and all they want to do is just like get their gold and like sit on top of a bigger pile.
Oh, those are
slowly rising. Like,
those are dragons. Those are
No,
those are
okay.
dragons. Just so you know.
Well, there's several.
That's
lords
Jeff Bezos. That's Jeff Bezos.
I don't have anything useful there.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. By the way, I should have gotten some wine. By the way, because like now everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're drinking wine yourself." I'm drinking vodka actually, so sorry.
Yo, hold on.
I'm changing it up a little bit. Oh, you're drinking wine. What are you drinking?
Cabernet.
Cabernet?
Actually, no, dark red blend, but it's
Dark red
drier
blend?
than Cabernet.
Is it from California or is it from the French?
Oh, you're judge me all that you want. It's
Wow.
boxed wine.
It's box. Oh, box can still be good for a
I
while.
actually really like it. It's really dry.
Yeah, I love Cabernet. Nice, robust dryness. So good. I'm so glad that the restaurants opened up because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I got a friends and family thing. This seven doors in the Colony, and I'm gonna go tomorrow. I can't wait to go. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to order some cocktails with some good dishes. You guys Are you guys excited that we're reopening the economy or no?
Yeah, I mean, I just waited tables for like 6 hours for the first time in forever. It was awesome. I've been working in my room, like, for 3 months, 2 months.
So this nation is handling it like I thought they were going to handle it. Partisans are particizing. Everybody's got their own little angle on this. Black people are going to still die. That's what pisses me off. But then, has
there been any reported fatalities yet? I haven't seen that.
I mean, not yet. And, by the way, when it comes to the police department, no fatalities are ever reported. Are they? I mean,
not accurately.
Yeah.
It's weird how they report those, man. So, like, this is weird. Louisiana, they have up to 30 days before they have to report when a police kill a person. Like, before they do an internal investigation, they have up to 30 days before they're required to actually have, like, anything about it. Like, that's so much time to fabricate and change up evidence.
Yeah, that's
fucking insane. I don't know what it is in other states. Like, Texas, I imagine, has something, like, analogous to it.
I mean, in Texas, they can report whatever the fuck they want. Nobody's going to check, and nobody's going to care.
I feel like
I've read my own police reports. I've read my own police reports, guys. They're like the Washington Examiner. They are, like, the most fake in the fake of the fake. Like,
yes.
Like, I mean, I was there, but I don't know what this is.
Apparently, I said hi and welcomed them into my apartment.
Yeah. They just write this exact stuff like that. I'm just like, I didn't say that. That didn't happen. And like there's video. There's video refuting this. Their own video. It's their own police report, but nobody cares. So I don't really even know what to do about that.
Take it to court or no?
Oh, yeah, I did. I said, Your Honor, watch the video. It refused their own police report. He did. And guess what? It was Waxahachie. Okay? And I'm not going to edit that out. It was Waxahachie, and they're racist over there. The Klan is alive and well in Waxahachie. So I wasn't a bad. By the way, that's why whenever I go from San Antonio to Dallas, I go 35W, go 35 West, because I would go 35 East near Corsicana and Waxahachie, because I know that's Klan territory now. Okay, I know that. I didn't know that at first.
If you're going out west, try to avoid Jacksonville also. I was going out there with my ex once, and we stopped at this Subway. And this dude was just like smoking a cigarette. She was driving my car, and he was just like smoking a cigarette and staring at us. And like, she was always like really aware if people were like staring at her, and she'd just be like, Justin, this guy's like mugging us. And I was just on my phone. I was like, okay. For whatever reason, I didn't really care. And then I look over, and this guy like really clearly is. And then he's just like, hey, are y'all from around here? And we were getting out, and I was just like, no, man. And I was like trying to like act friendly with him. And she like went inside, and I tried to like walk over and like, do the like aggressive handshake and just like de-escalate. And then these like white kids literally rolled up like blaring rap music, and he looks at me and he's just like, I'm so sick of people acting like that. Aren't you? And like my girlfriend's black, and I was just like, all right, man, I'm gonna head out. But like it was like cool chatting up with you. And he's just like, yeah, man, just be careful going through here, like I don't know, people get lost sometimes. And I was just like, okay, well, that's really weird, uncomfortable, and so like those police are just like
they've just put that's their business, that's their economy, that's their economy. Putting you in jail is those small towns. That's their economy.
Yo, there's like a website you can find where they like map out like interstates, like places where it's like gas stations that are friendly, like like outside, or like it's rather like places that are in like known like KKK and like I don't know, like African animosity areas, I guess.
Yeah.
areas.
I don't know. Like coronavirus has been like enveloping like this entire summer.
I think the riots could have permanent change. The benefit we get from that our country is never going to be what it was before the pandemic and before the riots. Never. That version of our country doesn't exist anymore. Whether it gets worse or whether it gets better is yet to be seen, but it will be different.
I mean, that sounds ominous. Jesus Christ.
Only one thing's for sure. There's no telling what will happen.
Exactly. I don't know what to say about that. Wow.
I just think like we're going to view police brutality differently. Now, who ends up with more freedom afterwards, I don't know. But
well, I really do you guys think that Rodney King changed the way that police brutality was viewed? So that's actually something. So I've been trying to like explore like Judaism more. Because like part of my family is Jewish, and I've been atheistic my entire life, and I feel good when I go to synagogue. But the race riots that happened then, though, nobody's died in this thing so far. The race riots that happened then, there were Orthodox Jews that were like targeted on the basis of their Jewishness at the time by like members of things like the Nation of Islam. I did extensive like work on them for my senior thesis. And so that hasn't happened now. And I think that that's indicative of more like cultural cohesion that's happening between like black and white groups, which is like fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But it also highlights the fact that like when there is, you know, this like larger like majority rule that's happening, you know, and there's like these like, you know, minority things that are happening. I just hope no one gets hurt is like my point in this. But I also think that there's a chance that like people being hurt as a result of rioting might be relegated to the past in America, at least on a racial basis. I'd fucking hope.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Jewish, so religious basis and racial basis, all bases.
Apparently, that's another thing, though, since like 2001, since 9/11, racial, religious, all of this has just been kind of like compacted into one thing. And, you know, kind of used by the parties to spread their propaganda all over the fucking country. And it's just so sad to see our country, you know, the beacon on a hill. We have all of these promises, all of these wonderful, you know, things that we are supposed to do, these amendments. That's what I was trying to say, amendments. And yet, you know, why is it so hard? Why is it so easy for us to be broken? Like we're like Bruce Wayne in a cage with Bane in The Dark Knight. And like, remember,
we're not broken.
We were broken. Our spirits are our body, Bruce. We don't leave of shadows, Bruce.
Very much.
Bruce, the coronavirus, Bruce. Like, we just broke like fucking, like popsicle sticks. Our economy broke. Our fucking way of life broke. Yeah, everything broke just then. Just that time.
We're in an abusive relationship with the Chinese, and we have been since Bill Clinton let it happen. Like, we just been like, no, you don't know how they are, and we're not around. And like, we're so dependent on them. And then like, when anything bad happens to them, because we're so dependent on their entire economy, our economy falls too. Same thing with Europe. It's just this like precipitous domino effect. And like, it sucks too, because like there's study after study that shows that we're so invested with China at this point. There's not even any real way to economically separate. Like, it was a lie from the beginning, no matter what party you want to be, but it was particularly a lie when Donald Trump said that he was going to bring jobs back from there. Because there's certain cultural resource and just when you have, so first of all, China's a much more like...
We have a minimum wage for one thing. Like, they don't.
Yes. And also this is going to sound kind of like a dunk on Americans, which I think we deserve sometimes, but like they're very thankful for even their like low wages too, because like we think it's brainwashing, but when you live in an agrarian society for that long, where like you just are marauded and encroached on a daily basis by people who have more than you, urbanization brought them out of that. Like, it's actually a myth when you see like there are the suicide nets there, but it was demonstrable that the suicide rate in China went straight down whenever they started urbanizing and gave everybody jobs through the government programs. It went straight down, even though everyone's like, no, they worked themselves to death. Like, that's true, and I'm not excusing that, but
ever a defendant of the socialist and communist regimes there.
Yeah.
I love that though.
They had good literacy programs.
They had good literacy programs, Bernie. Okay, Bernie. But just please, okay, look, I agree with that stuff. Don't forget, I'm a progressive, even though sometimes I deviate. But that's just because I'm a person too. That's some good stuff. It's just the fact that he capitulated to Joe Biden, the exact opposite of everything he stood for, that completely ran him out of gas. Okay, stop saying he's a friend. You ran out of gas on the I'm a friend of Joe Biden. You ran out of fucking gas. He did that to him. I didn't do it. Trump didn't do it. Nobody did that. Not even Bloomberg. But in fact, Elizabeth Warren didn't even do it. Okay, Bernie Sanders did that. He did that to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders did that to Bernie Sanders. Okay, nobody did that but him. Okay, he's the one who lost. He lost because of that shit. And I'm tired of that shit. I don't know if I can tell you that.
Okay, so what did Bernie really do wrong though? Because we didn't actually.
That for one, that one. Okay, Luca, you can come in.
Too much of a cosmetic
I need you on this, Luca. I need you on this, Luca.
I think that he was the compromise for the far left. He was like good enough for them to be willing to vote for him. And then he betrayed everybody, as far as I'm concerned.
Joe Biden is a friend of mine. What the fuck is that? If Joe Biden's a friend of yours, why are we voting for you then?
Yes.
What the fuck kind of thing is that?
So you think that that's why he lost? Because of statements like that? And why do you think that was, how do you connect that to like the loss in momentum?
I think a lot of it is he was too much for Democrats and he was not quite enough for most far leftists. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons he didn't get as much traction as he really needed. And then he gave up.
Okay, so we did do really well up till Super Tuesday with, we dominated.
That was the coalescing, though. That was the coalescing.
Yeah, so before the Megazord, though, so here's my first question before the neoliberal Megazord is, do you think progressives in the Super Tuesday states did not turn out for Bernie in the way that they did? Because there were still large swaths of people who turned out for him. It's just way more people turned out for Biden. So do you think that he did alienate progressives, or do you think that he just severely alienated the moderates so much that they ran away to what was familiar?
I would say that the moderates, it's probably more because they went towards what's familiar. It comes down to that annoying like electability thing.
Yes.
So this is what I want to ask you then, because this is why he said the thing about Joe Biden. Is because those moderates that we couldn't get, when he said Joe Biden's a friend of mine, the media was stacked against us the moment that we before we won New Hampshire. It was stacked against us before that. They tried to say that
since 2016.
They tried to say that we were an echo chamber who didn't want to have any outside thoughts come in, that we were a bunch of online aggressive white neckbeard Dorito eating fat idiots who were just trying to attack people and beach balls and not actually have anything happen. And then what was happening in reality is we were trying to branch out to those voters the media claimed that we were alienating, when study after study showed that we don't actually go out and antagonize people that way online. So when he was trying to say like Joe Biden's a friend of mine, he was trying to create some generational and ideological cohesion to say, please come vote for me. We hate Donald Trump too, but they didn't turn out for us.
Okay, so let me tell you this. That's why
he lost.
Now I'm gonna wrap that up. Okay, so what Lucas said and what you said, those are both true facts. Okay, but what happened is when Donald Trump became president in 2016, right? Do you remember the Republican primary? Do you remember when he decimated 16 fucking Republicans? He decimated them, destroyed them one by one. One by one, destroyed.
Jeb Bush is the wimp.
Yeah, Jeb Bush, low energy. Marco Rubio drinks too much. He doesn't have big hands.
He's a mess.
Like me. He's a mess. He's not winning. He's low energy. Okay, so then he decimates. Okay, Bernie Sanders could have done that shit. Okay, he had Joe Biden with a crime bill. Okay, crime bill hanging over his head. All of these Democrats are bought and paid for by Wall Street, the military industrial. I'm gonna keep on talking. And still, okay.
He said all that.
Then he said no. He said Joe Biden was a friend of his. What he should have said was, guess what, Joe? You did the crime bill, Joe. Joe, you motherfucking locked up black people all over the country, Joe, with your minimum mandatory sentences, Joe, and your goddamn, and guess what you're trying to do with Social Security, Joe? Joe, you're a motherfucking racist, Republican bullshitter. He should have said, but he should have looked at the camera with his old ass face and been like, Joe, you are a motherfucking Republican scumbag, bullshitting bitch. But guess what? Bernie Sanders got on the debates and said, oh, Joe, remember when we had that conversation and you want to cut Social Security, Joe? Remember that time?
talked
I
about
don't remember.
busing.
Do you remember that,
We talked
Joe?
about
I
the
don't
crime
remember the
bill.
Joe.
We talked about the
I don't
war in
know,
Afghanistan.
Joe.
We
Whatever
talked
you
about
say.
Iraq.
Whatever you
don't
say,
watch the
Joe.
debates.
I
Don't
think
watch-
my name's Bernie Sanders, Joe. I don't know. I would coalesce.
You're being a Republican right now.
We're
You're not
200.
hearing
We're
the
200
facts.
delegates away. We're 200 delegates away. He drops out of the race, Justin Jay. He drops out of the race. 200 delegates. That's some pussy numbers, bitch. Do you know how Ralph Nader had to run? Ralph Nader had to run up
That's
a
your
fucking
part?
hill. Ralph
That's
Nader
your
had to
part?
run. You're a Ross Perot, motherfucker. Make a stand. Take a
The
stand
most
for this
notable
country,
names in
Bernie.
politics.
Take a stand for this
Their
country,
triumphs.
Bernie. Okay? What are we fighting for? If you're not gonna fight, Bernie, I'm just gonna say.
Because there's too much internecine conflict that was happening, and he's been in politics long enough to know that if he didn't abdicate the lead,
That's correct. That's correct, Jay
there's gonna
Justin.
be
That's
too
correct.
much,
He's been in politics way too long. That's correct. You're right.
Yeah, he's tired.
That's correct. Final thoughts, Jay Justin. Go.
Alrighty, so we need to coalesce around the Black Lives Matter movement that's happening in other states, but we also need to have GoFundMes in place, not only for the people who might be arrested, but for the small businesses that have been devastated, not just by COVID, but by the riots that are also happening.
I'll do my best. I think that wearing a mask is a responsibility, not some nice favor you do for other people. I think it should be an obligation, even if it's not legally required. I think people should be limiting exposure to other folks and respecting small businesses and their rules that they have on the doors.
I love it. My final thoughts is.
Final thoughts.
My final thoughts are. Thank you so much, Jay Justin. My final thoughts are the conventional wisdom, the social norms. Ask questions, and always ask why. Thank you. This is Tommy Nation Politics.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?